are exploring listening to albums. It is a lost art form. We took an hour out of our day. We switched off the phones, we switched off the computers, we did not answer the door. We sat down and we listened to the artist's vision and concept. We are looking at the original Broadway cast recording of Dreamgirls, the musical. Released on the 25th of February 1982 on Geffen Records, Dreamgirls' original Broadway cast album was produced by David Foster. Dreamgirls had debuted at the Imperial Theatre on West 45th Street even in Manhattan on the 20th of December 1981. Dreamgirls was based somewhat on the story of the Supremes and the history of Motown and by extension R&B. The cast starred Jennifer Holliday, Sheryl Lee Ralph, Loretta Devine, Ben Harney, Cleavant Derricks, and Obba Babatundé. It was nominated for 13 Tony Awards and won 6. It was adapted later in 2006 to become a motion picture, but this review is focused on the original Broadway soundtrack album. The album reached number 11 on the album charts and peaked at number 4 on Billboard's Black Album charts. The awards continued with 2 Grammys, one for the Best Musical Show Album and another for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance to Jennifer Holliday's And I Am Telling You I'm Not Going. The songs on the album are written by Henry Krieger and Tom Ian. The album was recorded at Media Sound and the Hit Factory in New York City and mixed at Studio 55 in Los Angeles, mastered at Sterling Sound. The iconic illustration by Carl Ramsey features a trio of evening gown, silver strappy-heeled performing lovelies, complete with matching microphones. It's an above-the-belt, below-the-breasts depiction of performance glamour, purple background, dark cream font. A whole host of musicians underscore this body of work. It is a Broadway production after all. Let's mention some of them. Brian Blake on drums, Uriel Tinker Barfield on bass, Miles Chase on keyboards, Alan Spanger on French horn, or Spanier, probably. 3 trumpeters, David Gale, Jeremy Kale, and Mike Lawrence. 3 trombonists, Bruce Bonavisto, Joe Randazzo, and Janice Robinson. 4 woodwinds, 2 guitarists, 6 violinists, Catherine Cash, Gail Dixon, Katsuko Isaki, Marilyn Reynolds, Maxine Roach, Terry Whitehack. There's Nick Chirato on percussion, and there are 2 cellists. The show was a long time in the making. Tom Ian and Henry Krieger had first worked together on The Dirtiest Musical in Town. Nell Carter had inspired them with her performance to craft a show about a black singing trio. In 1978, Nell Carter took a role in a soap opera, so the project was shelved. Sheryl Lee Ralph and Loretta Devine were involved in these beginning stages. In 1979, Michael Bennett asked Ian to revive the project under the name of Big Dreams. Gospel singer Jennifer Holliday was drafted in to replace Nell Carter. Holliday left the project, however, as she was not thrilled with the fact that her character was killed off at the beginning of the first act. The production team acknowledged that Dreamgirls needed Jennifer Holliday and the necessary rewrites were made. Why does this show want to review this album? Well, I'll tell you. When I first came to New York in 1997, I was going through a good friend's record collection looking for things to record on cassette tape and walk around New York with. I have a feeling I shoved this to one side into the not interested pile, and my friend intervened and said, "What are you doing?" and proceeded to school me on the seismic jolt that Dreamgirls had been, and let's face it, still is. I'm never a fan of people who gloss over historic artistic landmarks by presenting new work as the sound of now, and therefore deeming it somehow superior. Let's review the songs. We have Move, You're Stepping on My Heart, which is the first track on the Dreamgirls album. It says, so you're gonna have to keep up with me a little here. This is our first time reviewing a Broadway cast album, and I've been procrastinating because there are lots of things to talk about. The Dreamgirls are Deena Jones, who's Sheryl Lee Ralph, Laurel Robertson, Loretta Devine, who is one of my personal favorites, and Effie Melody White, Jennifer Holliday. This opening song is sung by the Dreamgirls. It's energetic. Jennifer's lead vocal immediately presents itself as a force to be reckoned with. This song is in and out in 2 minutes and is a more than adequate opener. Fake Your Way to the Top. James Thunder Early, played by Cleavant Derricks, adds his amazing voice to this blustery, brassy, unapologetically gospel-tinged, or rather soaked, dizzyingly energetic piece. The story in the lyrics says there are 13 years of gold platters. The MC, Larry Stewart, is heard. The timbre of Cleavant Derricks' voice is a fusion of Teddy Pendergrass and James Brown. Always so real, the Dreamgirls chime in. There's nothing fake about the musical ability here. The content of the song makes you wonder about those artists who you never quite believe in. The other thing that springs to mind is the eternal battle between secular music and religious. Religious-based gospel. Help Me Jesus, this is a real thing in R&B gospel. Secular, non-secular. Marvin Gaye is a classic example of how heated the debate is. Marvin struggled with his father to get him to acknowledge or support his success. And it wasn't to be. Marvin was killed by his preacher father in 1984. So this song gets you thinking beyond the parameters of its environment, and that's a very good thing. Cadillac Car. Okay, so I haven't seen the play or the movie. I'm sure a lot of you guys have. I'm reviewing purely on the music here. Curtis Taylor Jr., Ben Harney, CeCe White, Obba Babatundé, and Marty, Vondie Curtis-Hall, joined Cleavant Derricks on the first segment of this song, which in 1981 talks about the significance of America's luxury car, the Cadillac. What they do is paint a picture of trickle-across desirability of a product. I'm not sure if the language in this piece would pass muster in today's hyperbolic hotbed of assumed sensitivity. But at the time, this was how the man on the street was probably expressing himself in relation to demographic consumption and how the perceived owning of a Cadillac represented success. What the song then does is to talk about tailoring music to white taste in order that the white man can feel as good as us. The song goes through two other phases, the recording and release of the song. It's edited so it sounds more polished. It's climbing the charts. The third has the song crystallized into a droplet of perfection. Look at me, mister, I'm a star. The Dreamgirls and the company join the second segment. Dave and the Sweethearts, which is Paul Bonotto, Candy Darling, and Stephanie Ely, are the performers on the third segment. This song is incredibly clever. Look what they've done here. They've talked about the separation in 1981, some will argue still to this day, of WASPs, Jews, and blacks. They've written a song about it, recorded it, got it on the radio, and another artist has swooped in, recorded the song, and completely sanitized the initial political topic that inspired the work. The song I'm okay with. The intelligence behind the song scores it big kudos with me. Step into the bad side. This song is great. The production is butter. Wayne, Tony Franklin, joins the Dreamgirls and Cleavant, Obba, and Ben to perform on this marvelous composition. If it were not for the radio announcements, this song could easily have been pulled out of 1973 and you wouldn't know it was part of a Broadway show. And again, it makes you think. Step into the bad side is not going to fly with the strict gospel set. So here we have a division in terms of content in the black musical community, at the very least. The narrative and the music is telling a powerful story. To this point, I'm shocked by the significance of the work contained in this show. Family slows the pace down, as is instantly separated here as a very definite musical composition piece. Jennifer Holliday's character is clearly not thrilled with the direction the Dreamgirls are headed in. My instincts tell me this is Obba on lead vocals. The prominent male and female performers are working on this track. We are a family like a giant tree. This song, I feel, is a setup for the betrayal that happens later in the show. Family changes the direction of the album a little bit. Incidentally, this is an interactive review where your views and information are welcome. So if Ben Harley is lead vocalist here, tell us so. We are all improved by a conversation and contribution. Dreamgirls is the title track to this collection of songs. It's not my favorite. It's largely understood that this album is a reference to the story of the Supremes. It's fun and throwaway, but I definitely prefer the more substantial material that has preceded it. I think now, though, would be a good time to give you a little background on the artists who play the Dreams, who are the female group in this play. Sheryl Lee Ralph plays Deena Jones in this play. She had made her screen debut in the 1977 comedy A Piece of the Action. She received a Tony nomination for her performance in Dreamgirls. Others will know her as Lauryn Hill's mum in Sister Act 2, and she was a TV regular of the UPN 9 series Moesha. She has released a book through Simon & Schuster called Redefining Diva, and played Madame Marable in Wicked during 2016. This is a brief snapshot. It's not everything she's done. Jennifer Holliday will talk about when her big moment happens later in the album. Loretta Devine plays Laurel Robinson in Dreamgirls. I'm very fond of this lady's work. She was born in Houston. She's 68 years old. Her first Broadway show of many was with Gregory Hines in Coming Uptown. Another important landmark was her appearance in Jesse Maples' Will, which was notable for being the first independent feature-length film by an African-American woman. You'll remember she was in 2 movies with Whitney Houston, Waiting to Exhale and The Preacher's Wife. Significant TV roles in Boston Public as a school teacher and on Grey's Anatomy as a doctor's wife. She was in the movie Crash. She was in Tyler Perry's For Color Girls. I'm trying to squish this big career into a small paragraph, and this is where the challenge in reviewing this album is. There is just so much we could talk about and attach to this historic body of work. Press conference, Dreamgirls review. Sheryl Lee Ralph is the female vocalist on this track, the lead singer. How does it feel to be at the head of this big success story? Wonderful, sings Deena Jones. Ben Harney promises to make Deena the most famous woman in the world as his character, Curtis Taylor Jr. It's a short song, but I am grateful to hear Sheryl Lee sing by herself. But the problem with this being track 7 is the end of the first act. Track 8, which is about to eclipse some of what we've experienced to this point. And I'm telling you, I'm not going. Jennifer Yvette Holliday originates from Houston, Texas, and was born on the 19th of October, 1960. There were awards for her role in Dreamgirls as Effie Melody White, including a Grammy for the recording of the song, and a Tony for the Best Leading Actress in a Musical. This song reached number 1 on the Billboard R&B chart and made number 22 on the Hot 100. The big voice you hear at the back of Foreigners, I Want to Know What Love Is, that's Jennifer Holliday. A dance music version of the song peaked at number 6 on the Hot Dance Music charts of 2001. I want all of you to know this is the standard by which I set the believability of an artist. This is my favorite vocal by a black female ever. No stone is left unturned in this affecting and emotional performance. There's no way past this song, no way through it, no way over it. The strings, the brass, the punch, the arrangement, the lyrics. You're the best man I've ever known. Some of my closest friends can talk about Jennifer Holliday ad infinitum. One friend told me that Miss Holliday would regularly be in the emergency room because her throat would be bleeding after her exertions during a performance. Someone else told me she gained 80 pounds to secure the role of Effie. As an audience, you're going to want me to mention that there was a movie remake of the Broadway show which starred Eddie Murphy, Beyonce, and Jennifer Hudson. I have done that. I will not be drawing comparisons between the two during this review. I will make one statement, and that's that I chose to review the original Broadway cast recording of Dreamgirls. I have assisted several singers over the years with vocal coaching, and in one particular case I was working with a female with a delicate voice, and I gave her this song to practice for our next session. I knew damn well she wasn't going to be able to sing it the way Jennifer Holliday does, but could she make me believe the message of the lyrics in her own voice? What we have in this song is undeniable expression and the utilization of one's entire humanity to deliver a musical work. Nowhere in my time on this planet have I ever heard anything like this song, nor am I likely to ever again. Spellbindingly brilliant. Ain't No Party. Loretta Devine sings this number with all her might as Laurel Robinson. It's spirited and it doesn't fall flat on its face after Jennifer's preceding zinger. My mother wants to know when you're going to marry me. It's almost like a tuneful fusion of yelling and singing. It has oodles of personality, and I have so much time for Loretta Devine. So with me, this song is great. I can't always exactly make out what she's saying, but the sheer expression of the performance more than makes up for it. When I First Saw You, Curtis Taylor Jr. and Deena Jones further familiarize us with their intimacy on this track. Ben Harney has textbook musical theater ability, clear alliteration, hits every single note in its epicenter. It is pleasant. For some reason, this track puts me in mind of Johnny Mathis. I definitely prefer the ballsier, brassier R&B/gospel material on this collection, but the writing here could not be more Broadway if it tried, and part of me has to respect the intelligent decision to remind people that this is a show for the stage. I Am Changing. Jennifer Holliday delivers another showstopper. The arrangement and construction of this song once more allows Effie to showcase her phenomenal instrument. It made number 29 on the US R&B charts. The songwriting has a similarity to And I'm Telling You I'm Not Going, but it's differentiated by a key change towards the end and a triumphant dramatic ending. I like this song by itself a great deal. As part of the Dreamgirls album, it feels a little like Gilding the Lily. It's almost too much too soon with And I'm Telling You only having been 3 songs back. Let's be crystal clear, this is not a diss. The song's amazing. It's just where it sits on the album that I question. I Meant You No Harm. Cleavant Derricks as James Thunder Early belts out this song for a minute. We know he's vocally great. The second act is not impressing me as much. It's nice to hear his voice, but I'm starting to wonder about the relevance of this in relation to the other material. The rap. So this track qualifies the previous song as something that Jimmy doesn't want to be singing in the first place, and proceeds to deliver a funky James Brown-style number full of bodacious brass and swagger. Cleavant Derricks is an exciting and sexy vocalist. Jimmy wants a piece of that chocolate cake. There's no questioning soul music when it's done properly, and this is great, adding some more vitality to the songs in the second act. The firing of Jimmy. So the previous 2 songs set us up for the firing of Jimmy. Cleavant Derricks and Loretta Devine's characters are together in this play, and the song deals with Jimmy's inappropriate behavior in dropping his pants, which is not in keeping with the group's commercial direction. Ben Harney calls it class versus crass, and we already heard from Loretta Devine in Ain't No Party that while Jimmy is exciting, he doesn't do the right thing by Laurel, who sings that Laurel loves Jimmy, but she has a show to do. It's just showbiz, say the ominous voices as closing, which shows that Jimmy's character has indeed run out of luck. This song is a perfect pairing of Broadway stage storytelling and R&B character. What the song demonstrates is how creative differences can result in splits between people who have worked together. Cleavant Derricks' character is very much at home on something like Stepping to the Bad Side, but he is sacrificed for keeping it too real. Good work. I Miss You, Old Friend. This song pairs Jennifer Holliday and Obba Babatundé, who plays her brother, C.C. White. He has written her a song that only she can sing. You can hear that my observations are now concerned with the story. Babatundé very much holds his own vocally when the two sing in tandem. The writing is consistent with the classic Broadway musical style, and I've learned enough from the way this album is put together to know that this is leading us into another big song. One Night Only. This is definitely a recognizable song from the play, performed by The Dreams, and Deborah Burrell, who I'm finding out while I'm researching replaces Effie in The Dreams after she is fired. The song is a change in direction in that it morphs into a disco song. It's catchy, it's adequate, but I definitely have moments I prefer. I like that it's different stylistically, however fluffy it is comparatively with the more anchored writing on this collection. Hard to Say Goodbye, My Love, in their farewell performance on this track. The dreams to my ears sound like the emotions. I wouldn't call this song a big finish, but I like it enough. It's a pop farewell from a cast that we know have so much more to give in an R&B sound. This farewell, compared to Jennifer Holliday's solo farewell at the end of Act 1, are not even in the same ballpark. It's only fair we give the gentleman performance their recognition here too. Cleavant Derricks Jr. won the Tony for his role in Dreamgirls, but he's even more well known for his role as Rembrandt in Sliders, a science fiction TV show which ran between 1995 and 2000. He was born into a musical family in Knoxville, Tennessee. His mother, Cecile, a pianist, and his father, a Baptist preacher-composer, also named Cleavant Derricks, who had become famous for his gospel music hymn, Just a Little Talk with Jesus. He guest starred on Roseanne, Moonlighting, A Different World, and L.A. Law, to name but a few. Ben Harney also won a Tony for his role in Dreamgirls. He attended Manhattan's High School of Music and Art. He was born in Brooklyn, August 1952, and is married to Olive. He was a working actor and dancer between the years of 1972 and 1985. I'm not able to glean a great deal more about him, so feel free to add your voices if I'm missing something significant here. Obba Babatundé was nominated for a Tony for his role in Dreamgirls. He was born King Obba Babatundé. He has appeared in many movies and television shows, including Philadelphia, which I watched just recently, John Q, The Manchurian Candidate for the movies, and Boston Legal, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Bold and the Beautiful for TV. So, in final summarizing of this album, the best stuff happens on the first half, and it's kind of a shame, really. I'm just imagining that intermission when she delivers that amazing song. I mean, where is there really to go from that song? I mean, even if the rest of the material is fantastic, to me that song is so big and such a showstopper that the fact that it's at the end of the first act doesn't leave them anywhere to go. And it's not that the other material's not good, it's just that that song is so powerful that it almost feels like it should be the finale to the whole show. Obviously, because of context, that's not the way it happens. But as a result of this, what happens is you sort of, I don't know how to put it, it's like they put their best stuff in early, and then the rest of the album, I wouldn't say it tails off because that's not fair either, but it's just not as strong as this first set of material. I really connected with the intelligence here. I really felt this was well written. I thought it was well put together. And I was shocked, really. I was very, very shocked at just the depth of the story here. And I suppose that was the beauty of reviewing a play or a story, because that's essentially what you're doing. There is usually a story attached to these musicals, and this certainly has a story. So the final mark for from Running Commentary album reviews for the original Broadway cast recording of Dreamgirls is 80%.